Hello YouTube fam. In today's video I'm going to go over the top 4 grading companies at this current moment. As we all know, grading has become an essential part of the hobby. The difference is today we have so many more choices than we had back then, but it's all going to be good. You know why? Because I'm going to break it all down for you guys, grade each of the grading companies, let you know what I like and dislike about each of them. So make sure you guys watch till the end so you guys don't miss any details. First up, I'm gonna go over CSG Grading. CSG is not a brand new grading company. They've actually been leaders in grading comic books and is known for CSG Grading, and they've been leaders in grading comic books for decades. They also grade banknotes, rare coins, stamps, and other collectibles. To start off their sports cards grading efforts initially, they went ahead and hired 2 senior Beckett graders from Beckett Grading. So I would assume some of their grading practices may mimic some of Beckett's. The first thing people always tell me when they hold a CSG slab is how beautiful and crystal clean and sturdy the slabs are. The one I have in hand here is the original green label. However, a lot of the collectors in the hobby dislike the green labels. I personally don't have a big problem with it, but they did recently change their label to a black colored label instead. I don't know how big of a significant this change will do for them, but it would seem like it's based on the feedback they've gotten from their polls that they've sent out to their customers, which in return told them that they didn't like the green color and they also preferred seeing 10s instead of 9.5s in their grading. So they've already adjusted the grading scale where their old green label 9.5s are actually 10s in their current black label. For me, black label or green label, they still represent the same value. However, I know there's people that do prefer seeing 10s on their slabs, and they are able to send their old green 9.5 label slabs into CSG, and they will go ahead and turn those into black label 10s for you. In terms of value, I think overall CSG just hasn't been around long enough yet to get the notoriety and credibility they really deserve. However, I have been seeing their values trickle slightly upwards lately. Their grading prices are only $12 for their bulk submission, which is probably the most attractive part with grading with CSG amongst the big 4 grading companies. And at the current moment, it's the only grading company you would submit your lower end cards to. It just wouldn't make sense to pay anything higher to grade your base low end cards. So with that said, they should be able to grow out that niche themselves unless PSA starts offering bulk value submissions again. Another big perk with grading with CSG is that they scan each of your cards and submit them in HD quality. Each card is scanned and certified on CSG's website with its unique serial number. All you need to do is scan the QR code in the back and it will take you directly to CSG's website with all the information about the card, including its certification of authenticity, and you'll also be able to see their newly built population count. All in all, I do see CSG making improvements every day, which is important, and they are also backed by Blackstone Investments. With that said, they should and will have bigger things to come in the future, and I will definitely be keeping an eye out for them. Next up here I have the SGC slabs, the so-called tuxedo slabs. Their slabs are black all around, which helps the card pop out a bit. I must admit I wasn't a big fan of SGC slabs in the beginning, but they've definitely grown on me in the past year. A little bit of background about SGC. They've been around for over 22 years, so they have established some type of respect and reputation in the hobby, and is actually preferred for vintage cards. The great thing about SGC is they're pretty transparent about their process, and when mistakes do occur, we all are human, they do take responsibility, which is a great sign for a healthy company. They've also improved their slabs over the years. As you can see here, I have two SGC slabs, the old slab here on my left and their newer slab on my right. For the newer slab, they're a little bit thicker, more durable. The other thing that they've changed is the logo in the back. The old slabs have the Sports Card Guarantee LLC in the back, and the newer slab has the SGC logo. The only thing I would recommend for SGC is that they still don't have a barcode or a hologram or a lighthouse technology as the other grading companies have, that help prevent counterfeit and help distinguish its authenticity a little bit more. But with that said, I haven't heard of many cases of counterfeit SGC slabs, and the current pricing per card is about $25 per card. And the best thing about SGC that's lacking in the industry is the tremendous long turnaround times. Their turnaround times are actually pretty accurate from what they state on their website, which is quite a rare thing in the hobby. I've got PSA submissions that's been sitting there for over a year and 5 months now for my bulk orders. And with SGC, their bulk orders come back within 3 months. So a huge substantial difference in wait times there, which I'm glad they're really realizing that as a pain point in the hobby, and they're stepping up to the plate to help relieve that pain a bit. So what I would recommend is, if you have like type of the mid-value type of cards that you want back quicker, much quicker actually than PSA, I would recommend submitting those cards for SGC. Next up, I'm going to go over BGS Beckett slabs. I personally love BGS Beckett slabs because they are the thickest and most durable slabs out of the four. Beckett, of course, is also a household name in the hobby. People like me who grew up in the hobby with the hype in the 90s all looked up the prices and values of their cards through Beckett magazine. I also think their number one thing they have a leg up on is their subgrades. People just want to know what and why they got the grades the companies, the grading companies have gave them. And with subgrades, at least you get a little bit more information and explanation about that. That's one thing in the hobby I wish that there was more transparency about, which is why the cards got the grades they got back from the grading companies. Beckett grading is also really popular amongst autograph cards. A lot of high-end autograph cards get graded by Beckett because of the combination of their subgrades, their autograph grades, and what I call grading taxes, which is basically an upcharge the grading companies charge you for making the value of your cards higher after grading. This topic honestly doesn't get talked about enough and is something I'm against actually. I personally don't think it's fair to charge a hefty surcharge on a card that's my property, which the card can potentially go up or down in the future or at any time. A card that you kept in great condition, the grading company basically penalizes you for the quality that you kept the card in its fine condition. But I'll just go ahead and stop there because I can make a completely separate video about this topic. But in short, if your card gets an exceptional grade such as a PSA 10 or a BGS Black Label, the value of your card jumps $100,000 hypothetically. The maximum allowed declared value from a BGS graded card versus a PSA graded card is much higher, meaning you will get taxed a lot less from BGS than PSA based on the declared value if the card jumped, for hypothetically speaking, to $100,000. This is also the reason why you see $1 million cards sales in BGS slabs rather than PSA slabs, because they didn't want to get those high grading taxes from PSA. Usually they're the autograph cards that are popular for BGS grading. However, BGS grading prices are currently pretty high right now, still at $60 for their standard service with subgrades and $40 without subgrades. And since their overall resale value is still quite lower than PSA at the moment, and with PSA grading prices at very similar levels, my personal top choice would still be to grade with PSA. I personally only send to Beckett my personal collection type of cards because I grew up with Beckett being the leaders in the card collecting space in the 90s, and also for the nostalgia factor. Also because their slabs are strong and sturdy overall. I've owned a couple of BGS slabs and have held them for decades, and they have stood up against the test of time. So it's a common saying sometimes, it's good to buy BGS slabs, but not so much for submitting to them because of the long wait times. And lastly, of course, we have the leader of the pack, PSA Grading. The obvious leader of the big four for many reasons, but a big reason I think is because of their technology, from their Lighthouse label to their very own PSA app where you can scan the authenticity and see the population count wherever you are. As you can see here, that's the Lighthouse label to help with the counterfeit on a lot of the PSA slabs that the counterfeiters try to counterfeit. It has kind of like the holographic effect there, so this makes it a little bit harder to counterfeit versus you can see the older PSA slabs, they don't have the Lighthouse effect. They do have a hologram, but it's just a little bit more advanced now with their label. You can see like hints of PSA there. It just makes it a little bit more difficult for the counterfeiters to counterfeit. And the barcode still works. You can still scan these old PSA slabs with the PSA app with this barcode, and they still give you all the relevant information. But you know, when I'm at shows and I'm wheeling and dealing, the scanning this barcode really helps give people comfort and allows people to see all the information about the card. You can kind of make it more real that it's an authentic PSA slab. But my only gripe with PSA slabs is sometimes their slabs can be a little bit thin and flimsy. So if I used all my might and bent this slab here, I could probably break it versus a BGS slab where it's just much tougher. As mentioned, their pricing is still $50 a card to grade at their lowest price point for the economy service, so definitely not cheap. And but they do still hold the highest resale value. It's still the most reputable, and is still, you know, the top choice for most collectors at the moment. And I think the gap between, you know, the second, which I would say is Beckett, is kind of it's kind of big. So just the negative about PSA is just their bulk orders are horrific. And as I mentioned, I still have a bulk order there, year and 5 months, and still waiting. Their econ orders are manageable for wait times. It does cost $50, but I just waited for a little bit over a month and I was able to get it back, as you can see in my previous videos. All in all, I do think it's just your personal preference on which grading companies people like to grade with. You know, I already broke it down and explained to you guys the reasons why I would submit to each of them. But PSA is still going to get you the highest resale value, and they sell the best at card shows. Some people only buy PSA slabs. But as mentioned, there is a niche for each of the grading companies, and each of the grading companies do one thing better than the other. So to give you a quick summary of what I recommend for each of the grading companies would be CSG slabs for your lower end base cards, SGC slabs for your mid-level cards you want back quicker, BGS slabs for your higher end autograph cards, and PSA slabs for your high-end high value cards. Those are just my recommendations, but obviously based on your preferences and what you're looking for out of the hobby, you would go with the appropriate grading company. Well, that's just about does it for today's video, guys. I hope you got some value in it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys haven't already. I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on what other type of content you'd like to see. I'm always trying to strive to make the content you guys like. Let me know if you guys have any further questions, and I'll see you guys in the next video.